Hello again, everybody. It's Taco, and hopefully, I am live the way I'm supposed to be. Welcome to our first ever episode of the Wacky Theories podcast, where we connect ordinary dots in wacky ways. As I said, I'm your host, Taco, and tonight we're going to have as a special guest my son, Isaac. But before we do that, I need to tell you a thing or two about the show. You can find us every Tuesday and Thursday night. I'm being texted. You can find us every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m., for our show where we will interview a new guest and connect the dots with some wacky theories. A little word about me. You might be wondering why I go by the name Taco. Well, when I was younger, back in high school, I used to love to eat at Taco Bell all of the time. And I ate there so much, in fact, I played a lot of sports and I would get hungry, didn't have much money, couldn't make much money cutting grass. And I had an account at the Taco Bell, the local Taco Bell, and the manager would actually let me have food for free during the week, and then I would have to pay off my account at the end of the week. Now, I doubt we could get away with that these days because things have really changed a lot. But back then, you could do it that way. Now that I think back on it, probably he was just pocketing the money, writing off the food, and then pocketing my payment at the end of the week. But in any event, I got the name Taco, and it stuck. Hence the taco. Now, we're going to turn to my son, Isaac, get him in here. If I can figure out how to do it. And I just hit the wrong thing. So, yeah. Isaac, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey, there you are.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I am doing well. Just enjoying the wonderful Zoom waiting room.
Okay. Well, I sincerely hope that that you're on, that everybody's hearing your voice, that they're hearing my voice. I have accidentally hit buttons that I didn't mean to hit. So yeah, I can barely see the things that I thought I would be seeing, such as a chat. If anybody chats me, it's covered up, but whatever. So if I accidentally click off on something during this meeting and cut us off, that's my fault. Sorry about that. I guess that'll be the end of this first ever episode.
Hey, I like the it's the spice of life, and
Yes,
you're keeping it interesting.
That's what I'm trying to do. So tonight, in no particular order, I'm going to run some theories past you. But first of all, I wanted to tell you follow up on a story that I was just telling my audience before I let you into the interview. I was telling them how I got my name Taco. Did you know?
I've heard a lot of, I think, theories surrounding this one, so I don't know about the official one at this point.
Well, back in 1980, when I was I guess I would have been a sophomore in high school. I had an account and I would get food during the week and I wouldn't have to settle up with the Taco Bell until the end of the week. And I was telling the audience that I don't think that you could do things that way anymore, but that's how it was back then. Interestingly though, things really have changed. I mean, for example, looking at my notes, I can't even tell you. I don't even know what I was going to say. Never mind.
Well, things have changed, I would say, since 1980. That is true.
I was going to say something about CNN, and I can't even figure out why. I got a lot of practice. Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Let's just start with the interview of the guest.
All right, I am Isaac. You're I sprung forth from your loins 22 years ago.
Okay.
You might remember it fondly. I don't know.
Well, fortunately, it wasn't my loins, so I do
Yeah.
have fairly fond memories of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Although you came, at a crazy hour and everybody had been awake forever waiting for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
They all fell asleep in the waiting room, and finally you did pop out at about 7 pounds 4 ounces, as I
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah. And that's where it all began. And from there, I've just been breaking hearts and just making dough.
Okay, well now I understand what I was going to say about CNN back in 19.
Okay.
Okay, they didn't come into existence until 1980. Before that, it was TBS, and
Hmm.
the connection to Taco Bell there is that the guy that was the manager that would give me the food and not make me pay until later went on to work for CNN afterwards.
Okay.
Um, so, but he was with the Turner News Network, until it switched over in
Hmm.
1980. But the way things have changed is that now everybody's measuring everything. I mean, for example, a short 4 years later, when I was working for Slotsky's,
Hmm.
just making sandwiches, I had a manager that hovered over me all the time, and he was making me measure the cheese, measure the meat, on a scale before I actually made the sandwich for the customer. So that
On a
that was an
wait, on an actual scale?
yes.
Good
His name
Lord.
was Jerry, and if you're out there, Jerry, I hope you're like a fan of the show. But honestly, that scale was a bit much. But so Jerry would hover over us and expect us to measure, and if we didn't, then he punished us by making us slice onions and things that were no fun to slice.
Right.
Um, now look at the modern times. I mean, now, as I think I've told you before, a freight train with all that weight has technology where they can tell if just one vagrant has gotten onto the train, and let's say he weighs a couple 100 pounds, but they have technology that would note
Hmm.
that 200 additional pounds have gotten onto the train. And I guess I don't know what they would do though. Like, I'm not. Do you have any
I
idea
mean,
what they would do?
they're not stopping the train. Uh,
Right.
so I don't know. Maybe they have on train enforcers like Jerry, who come through and make them chop onions or something like that if they've put them to work shoveling coals.
I mean, I guess so, but the thing is, like, that's extra weight. If you're carrying around, let's say, two beefy enforcers, and they're let's just say maybe they're almost 300 pounds apiece. That's 600 pounds that you're lugging around just to stop the poor vagrant, who's probably not a solid 200 because he's a vagrant after all. He's
Right.
probably 140. You're carrying 600 pounds extra to deal with the 140-pound trespasser.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's a train. So do they really care about? I mean, do they care so much about the extra weight, or is it more just identifying that something is wrong and they don't actually really care about the extra weight because it's a train engine and it's carrying tons, like actual tons and tons of metal. So I don't think 100 or 600 pounds for that matter really makes it or breaks it.
I mean, I wouldn't think so, but like maybe it's because these guys spray paint their logos and stuff all over the cars, and maybe that's really what their objection is, more than taking the person for a free ride.
That
I
is
mean,
true, and that paint kind of adds weight over time. I mean, you see how much they tag those things.
I
I
know
mean
they
that
really do.
yeah. So I mean, there's probably 1,000 pounds of paint on there from all the spray cans that they put on.
So that would justify having Guido 1 and Guido 2 because they only
Right.
come in at 600 pounds. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
Hey, actually, you've said that word, and did you know that that is actually considered a slur nowadays? So it's 2020. You can't be saying that.
What
Emily called me out on that.
vagrant?
No, Guido. No.
Oh,
Well, well, now I've said it, so great.
yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna one of my theories later that I'm gonna run past you. In fact, I'll just do it now. I mean,
Okay.
I'm convinced that the Italians are up to something. I'm gonna have to go through. Like they've got all these
like
different.
like dying of corona, I think is they're a little up to something at the moment, but
Well, yeah, I mean that's a sort of a problem at the moment, but it's not just that. I mean, uh they've got all these different noodles. And I don't know about you, but I don't think they taste different at all. I mean, give me a lasagna noodle. I think it tastes the same, although it's thicker, it's wider, definitely wider than a spaghetti noodle, than a rigatoni noodle, than
Hmm.
a, name your pasta, linguine. I mean, names, there must be 20 different pasta names, right?
Oh, more than that. There's got to be like 50 or more.
So I have a theory that I can't find. Can you tell me why you think, while I'm looking for it, can you
I,
tell me why you think they would be doing that?
well, I think a true Italian chef would say that you've probably just been eating the Kroger brand, you know, pasta noodles, and they are all made out of the same thing there. But a true chef would make it out of slightly different levels of flour and egg and any other. It's basically what, flour and water and some other stuff, salt.
You
I mean,
so you really mean to be telling me that a truly made by an Italian non-Guido named person um
right.
is like made differently? Like a
Uh,
lasagna noodle has a different composition from a spaghetti noodle?
I would hope so. I mean, there's got to be something that makes up the differential in price and other stuff for these things, other than just the amount that you get. I would imagine there's some content, or maybe this is the biggest conspiracy theory of all, that there is no difference. They're just all cut differently, and they're charging us at Olive Garden like $20 for
E-
a $1
Exactly.
thing of pasta.
Exactly. That's the kind of cover up I'm talking about,
Yeah.
because like maybe they charge you more for the lasagna. They act like the spaghetti's bottom of the line that comes in at $9.99. But if you want to step it up to lasagna, you're paying $14.99 for that. Why?
Hmm.
A wider noodle made from the same thing. What's up with that? They
I
probably
I
give
can't.
you
Yeah.
they probably give you 10 spaghetti noodles to every one lasagna noodle anyway. So you get the total noodle amount, but they jack up the price.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
that
it
is true.
and I think that I really actually think it goes deeper than that. This sort of I found my theory. Um, I think that they're trying to confuse us and trying to shame us, because if you don't know your noodles, if you don't know a good rigatoni from a, linguine, if you
Right.
don't if you don't know that, then you feel a little bit socially awkward. You feel, somehow, not up to par, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's a distraction, a way of shaming us. And why would they be doing that? Well, what would they be trying to cover up? Can you think of something having to do with, say, oh, I don't know, where's the Vatican?
Uh, That's a good question. I don't even know at this point, but
Do you know what
some
country?
island. Yeah, I mean some island out there in the Mediterranean, right? I mean some
I
like
mean,
little
I'm talking about the church, man. The Catholic Church.
everywhere around me apparently is where they are. But
Man, they're based
okay,
in like Italy, right? Rome, right?
are they in Rome?
Oh my God.
Oh, well, is it Italy or like next to Greece that they are? I mean, where are they? And I got to look this up now. I don't even
It's
know where the Vatican.
they're
Okay,
in
hold on.
they're in Italy. They're in Rome, I think.
Yeah, they're in Rome. Okay, they're in Rome.
Thank you. You
They're
really
in
are
Rome.
messing me up. You're messing up my theory. Now look, okay, the
Okay.
Vatican's there. Now, can you think of any, say, oh, I don't know, scandal involving the Catholic Church?
I can think of a couple. So you think now, was this like a pasta cover up from God here? I
I
mean,
don't think it's from God. I just think, okay, so first of all, the Pope, I
mhm.
think he's a little unpredictable. We saw that recently. What was he doing? What did you see the Pope do recently?
uh I oh, the woman, yes, slapping the woman. Yeah.
Yes, he slapped the woman that tried to reach out and touch God, right? And he
Yeah.
just slapped her. Everybody saw it,
See, I'm
right?
starting to think that was like an intentional move to try to, I mean, with coronavirus, all the domestic violence is going up and everything like that. Everybody's stuck at home. So I think that was actually like a political appeal that he did
It's
there. I mean,
possible. I think it's a distraction technique. I mean, they got very bad PR for him slapping somebody that was just trying to touch God, right?
I mean, she
And
deserved it though. To anybody who saw the video, I think she got what was coming to her.
really,
I
she
mean,
just
did you? I mean, she's. I mean, okay, he didn't like he didn't manhandle her or anything. I mean, he just
he did body slam her, but he did. he did slap at her, right? And I mean, I think it was kind of scandalous. And clearly the little thing with touching children, in the church and inappropriately touching, let's just say that that's more than a little scandalous, to say the
Yeah. Well,
least.
well, what I'm wondering is, I thought the Pope had bodyguards or something like that. The two people that we were saying were on the train, where were they? I mean, because I thought there would be a lot of people, dissenters or just people out there that would have something against the Pope. I thought he would need protection. That's why he has the Pope mobile. With
Right.
the bulletproof glass and everything. Yet he's out there slapping women, and I mean,
Exactly. And so the two people that I can't, let's just call them G. Since I can't. Okay, so the
right.
two people that I'm calling G should have been there to prevent him from slapping this woman, and maybe they should have been in the church where some of this touching has been going on. But in
Yeah.
any event, all these things have been scandalous, right?
Mhm.
So what better way to distract us and shame us, turn it on us, than to come at us with all these different noodle names that we can't even handle. We don't even know the difference between all these different noodles, right? And so
Right.
we feel bad about it, and it distracts us.
I,
Anyway,
I do see what you're kind of getting at here.
and I mean, I don't want to take this too far, but like, you know, touching people and, like a wet noodle, you know,
So it
okay.
all ties back to.
I just think it ties
yeah.
together. It's just, I'm trying to connect the dots here. I'm trying to make sense out of a senseless world. And I'm really hoping that this whole episode is like broadcasting and recording as intended, and that we're not just having another one of our conversations. As much as I enjoy it, no insult to you.
Well, I mean, folks could just watch our, muted facial expressions for the next hour, and they'd probably get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Speaking,
I wish
what
I
does
had.
your hat?
Hey,
Sorry,
check it
what
out.
does your hat say? What is that?
What show do you think you're on, bro?
I am on Wacky Theories Taco Talks. I
No,
think.
well, you're
I
talking
don't
to
know.
Taco. You're talking to
Oh,
Taco, but you're on the Wacky Theories podcast, which incidentally is what this hat says if you look at it.
well, I'm trying, but you've got me like minimized in the Okay,
I do.
I think well, no. You're up. I'm minimized. I think we're cool, and I like the hanging taco you have there as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
nice
was
on the
pretty pleased.
microphone.
Got that off Amazon.
Yeah, and the brain. Those are brains in the background, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt. I think I'm gonna minimize this one little thing. I'm
Uh oh.
scared. Somehow I maximized the window. Oh, exit full screen. Okay, here we go.
Oh, don't do it.
Oh yeah. No, now I'm seeing, I think, what I'm supposed to be seeing.
Well, I'm seeing the same thing. I guess it doesn't matter so much what I see. Oh, hey, I swiped to the right, and now I'm on the screen with myself.
I know that I'm getting an indication that we're live streaming.
Okay.
I
see that. Yeah.
I don't see a Zoom notification, so I'm just really hoping that I hit the.
I have a Zoom notification saying that you are live streaming.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, like I say, this is the first ever episode of this show. I got to work
Right.
out the kinks. Next time around, I'm going to be 100 times better.
There you go.
Anyway, let me run another theory past you if you don't mind.
Okay.
Here's the theory. You tell me if you can figure out why. We'll make a game out of this. I say it's just a matter of time before taco shells are sold to us pre-broken.
Wait, they are already pre-broken? Because I swear every time I reach in the box, they're all broken, or I proceed to break every single one, getting them out of the plastic wrap.
It's true. I mean, they have this like really tough shrink wrap that you cannot get through. You have to saw through it, and then you break the shells while you're doing it.
I don't know what's up with that shrink wrap. So is that just a thing between all the taco brands? Because every time I try to open it, it's completely shrink wrapped. Like I get stuff sent to me shipped through Amazon that is way less protected than these taco shells.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but what you're saying is that they protect them so much, and then somehow still they arrive broken when you bring them home from the store. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
sorta, and or they expect me to get them out without breaking them, and then at that point I just have glorified tortilla chips that
And
I
then
need to cook.
and then you get mad and smash them in anger, But
Yeah.
actually, my theory is that if you would be doing yourself a favor if you did, because we all know, as soon as you bite into the taco, it breaks. First
Yeah,
bite, it's
that's true.
inevitable. Which, so I really think the way of the future is just to sell it to us pre-broken. I mean, kind of like jeans that
Hmm.
are, ripped
Yep.
already. What a marketing coup that was. They like everybody wanted to wear jeans, and then it became fashionable to have like nice dark blue jeans
Hmm.
and tight fitting jeans and all that. And then more recently, it's like faded, pre-faded for us, which means you don't have to do any of the work, you know,
And
and
like,
pre and
yeah,
pre-ripped, pre-ripped,
yeah.
and
Do
they
you think that
charge.
saves them like fabric costs at all, or do you think they still put the same amount of fabric into it and then rip it, or do you think they actually build the jean around the fabric and save fabric costs? I mean, they're charging us more for the rip, which is stupid in my opinion. I mean, they're giving you less jean.
Yeah,
That's it's not cool.
either they have it built into the machine, which I never really thought
Hmm.
about this, but it's either built into the machine or there's
Hmm.
they're employing some person, or maybe even, like a cat or something, just to shred things. Maybe they maybe they sprinkle catnip on the jeans, and then the
Hmm.
cat just shreds it willy-nilly, and then they market it,
That could
double
be
the
true.
price.
Well, here, how about this? Maybe all these taco shells are actually kind of like these companies are scouting for folks that can easily break, folks like me, that anytime they get out the taco shells, they rip the packaging, they break it, they're watching and they're going, wow, that is a guy we could employ in the jean factories to just rip up and destroy the jeans. They need folks like me that just can't functionally get a taco
Well,
shell
have you
out
applied?
without breaking. I don't know where to apply. It's you know
Any jean company? I mean, Levi's or something. Guess, I don't know. That's a
yeah,
shout out. I'd like to say that this video is no way sponsored by Levi's or Guess Jeans yet.
but it could be.
Not
Yeah,
yet,
yeah,
since this
yeah.
is my first episode. But I mean, I really think with this shout out, everybody buy some jeans
Hmm.
and buy Levi's and Guess. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, can you tell me why 8-ounce Cokes cost more than 12-ounce? I mean, while we're on this same topic of like jeans being ripped, and do they,
Hmm.
you know, like, honestly, these little mini things, I kind of like them because I usually don't want more than 8 ounces. I
Right.
admit, but like it's $5.50 for a what, 12 pack, as opposed to like $2 for a
Yeah.
12 pack of 12 ounces. What's going on there?
Well, the thing is, you're paying for I think you're paying for the cans and everything like that. But as literally as you get more, it gets cheaper. So if you buy a 2 liter, it's what, 99 cents, and you get as much as all those cans.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
even have
you could pay.
I think I've seen a 3-liter bottle before. I
Yeah,
think.
I think I've seen some of the like long, just kind of fat bottle.
And
Now that's a lot of Coke.
that's like 12 cents, because I think
Yeah,
you're going to need to save the money for funeral costs after you drink it or
right.
something. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Or the insulin shots, all that from.
That does, that funeral cost thing, that leads me to my next theory.
Mhm.
Coincidence, huh? Um, and before we go there, have you got any kind of a business or service you'd like to promote? A little plug for your website? I mean,
Right now I don't, but here I'll plug somebody else's business that I was reading about because I liked the idea. I just didn't think it helped with everything going on. So I've been quite tuned into all the corona stuff that's going on. I know this podcast is a good distraction from a lot of that stuff, but I think you would like this. There is a company that is selling cardboard hospital beds, but
oh
but
man.
but here's the thing, they actually, so they come and they're folded down almost, but basically what they do is they actually double as a coffin, so they can completely fold up into a full coffin, and then you just ship them right out of there. So I think that's a little. I, I just got to say, it's almost like a negative placebo in a way, because if you told the patient, hey, get down, like you're never getting up from here potentially, I don't know, that just seems pretty
Yeah.
bad.
You know what? You know what they're doing? Like everybody's going to say, I don't want that cardboard bed, right? Because we know that they're just going to wrap us up in it and dispose of us, whether we're alive or dead. And so we
Right.
don't want that. And so we're like, I'll pay extra for the regular mattress. And
Dang.
then that's how they make a little extra money.
Dang.
Right. But it's perfect that you said that, because my theory sort of has to do with that. We were talking about, wait, weren't you going to plug your friend? Your
What?
friend? Oh, the company you're plugging makes these cardboard beds?
Yeah, that's an actual company, and hospitals are buying them. I guess it's cheaper because I guess they can get rid of all the actual beds now.
Have you got any like insider trading information for me? Like, I want to invest in this company.
I don't know who they are, or the name or anything. It's just that's something to look out for. Coming to a hospital near you soon.
Okay. Well, I think, and this sort of ties into what you're talking about, I think that soon women are going to come to dread Mother's Day. It's just a matter of time. Like, I'll tell you what happened to me this Mother's Day. I
Okay.
went looking for some flowers to buy, for that special woman. Okay. And they didn't have any, because I didn't get there until the day of, and it's a bit late to be shopping for the Mother's Day flowers. So when I
Right.
got there, I said, "Well, I'll take these plastic ones." They said, "You can't do that. Those are funeral flowers." Have you ever heard that? I've never even heard of that.
I didn't know that they differentiated between the two. I mean, well, couldn't you just say, okay, well, I mean,
I'll take them, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's what I tried to say, but she said you can't do that. She said, first of all, like, that'll be an insult, and secondly, it turns out they're plastic. So funeral flowers just means plastic, permanent, so that you put it there. And I guess what they're really trying to do is encourage you not to go back and visit the grave, right? I mean, it's like you put them there and then forget about it for the next 600 years before they decompose.
Yes, yeah. That's
So
kind of bad.
yeah, I never really thought about it, but I guess the idea is they don't ever want you going back to the graveyard. So they give it to you once in plastic, and as it turns out, they have like a reinforced, fortified stem base or something. So I think mothers are, it's just a matter of time before men figure this out, and that it's a lot cheaper to buy the plastic once and forget about it for the next 600 years. And so we'll start doing that, and then they're not going to be happy about it. And I just think women are going to come to dread Mother's Day. Now, interestingly, Memorial Day, I mean, like, what does that celebrate?
I mean, folks who died in service, I think, and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what comes right after Mother's Day? I mean,
oh yeah, I guess Memorial Day does
see,
come up pretty soon after. Oof.
So I think there's some sort of evil connection there. Like, maybe from a man's point of view, maybe we could just buy the flowers somewhere between Mother's Day and Memorial Day, which is only 2 weeks apart or something like that. That way you can go either way with them, like give them to that special woman or that special dead woman. Either way, you're covered.
Well, or give them to the live woman, then take them back and, go use them for the other one.
Or I mean, I guess you could even start with the other one and then take them back from them.
Yeah, when it comes around for the next year.
Yeah. So anyway, just a theory. Okay. Let me run. Let's talk about my boy. It's Kim Jong-un.
Well, is he, I mean, do we need to talk in the past tense? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he?
I don't know. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. I figured you would know. I mean, like, he keeps lobbing missiles at people, just to show that he can or whatever, up until the point that he disappeared. And we're going to get to that.
Right.
But he was just sort of lobbing them frequently towards Japan somewhere
Hmm.
over, near them, always falling just a few feet shy of their country to show that they were within his range or whatever he was trying to show. Right
Right.
now, where is he now? We don't know. Is he sick? Is he dead? Is
Hmm.
he just partying somewhere? I've heard all of his theories, like the party thing, because they spotted 2 or 3 yachts parked, and nobody, there aren't a lot of people in North Korea that have yachts that they.
Right.
So like when you see a couple of them parked, it just kind of suggests that maybe
Hmm.
he's around. And so I've heard the party theory, and I've heard the maybe he's dead theory, and all these theories, right?
Hmm.
But I think it all started with Dennis Rodman. You know, like Dennis Rodman goes over there and they hook up. They're friends because of
Hmm.
the basketball and all that, right? You remember that,
Yeah. How could I forget?
right? And of course, Rodman, he's known for his extravagant dress style. Like when he
Hmm.
got married to Madonna, he was wearing a wedding dress, I do believe, right?
Hmm.
So some of that had to have worn off on my boy Kim, right? I mean, he had to have
I
seen
mean,
Robin probably took at least one dress in his suitcase, right?
right,
And
maybe.
Kim Jong Un saw it and he was like, "You Americans are so crazy. I want to try that." So he probably tried wearing some dresses,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Now, when he did that, I think Japan saw that and they saw an opportunity. They're like, this guy keeps lobbing missiles at us and he's getting really close to our beaches and it's got to stop. Maybe we should approach him in a friendly way and see if we can't persuade him in a friendly way to stop doing this, right? And now he's
Hmm.
wearing dresses. So now Japan, I don't know if you know, but they've had a problem recently with the men not being very interested in the women.
You have, yeah, we've talked about that, and it sounds like you covered that.
Right. I mean, they're not so interested, just for anybody that forgets. But
Mm-hmm.
the men these days are rebelling against their dads who worked, so hard climbing up the corporate ladder and,
Hmm.
basically had no time for family and children. So now you've got all these uh, sons born to fathers that were never present and they're mad about it. And so they're rebelling against that. They're not working hard. They're just staying in their parents' basements and playing Xbox and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
meanwhile, they call themselves herbivores because they're not interested in like
Wait,
the meat.
what? I
Okay, so well, here's the deal.
I mean, I get the name, but I didn't know that's I didn't know that's what they were called.
They refer to themselves as
Hmm.
herbivores because they're no longer interested in meat eating, and that's sort of symbolic for interest in women. Okay, they themselves are
Okay.
deliberately dressing and appearing in an effeminate way. And they call themselves herbivores because they're not interested in women. And they've said that. So
That's
Japan's
okay.
population is declining,
Hmm.
aging. They don't have many young people being born. And the women, poor things, have started chasing after gorillas and stuff. I mean, they keep saying that
Right.
how hot the gorillas look to them because they're so macho and unlike these Japanese men.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think the herbivores of Japan decided, hey, Kim Jong Un is now wearing dresses, and that's something they
Hmm.
could relate to. So they're like, we need to get him over here and talk to him, and maybe we can persuade him, from one herbivore to another, to stop lobbing missiles into the Sea of Japan. And it's
Yeah.
kind of hard on tourism.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is it hard on tourism though? Because
Well,
people love that danger. I mean, people go visit Chernobyl. I mean, like and then die later. So for these folks, they go bungee jumping. They do all this. I mean, wouldn't you want to be surfing out on the Sea of Japan? I mean, if I had to read a eulogy that said Taco died, but he died valiantly, hanging 10 and then getting hit, by that. I mean, that's way better. I mean, that's a great way to die, right? I mean, you get maybe.
I yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Okay, so you think then that like Japan is somehow trying to encourage him to continue to fire missiles in their direction.
Yeah, I actually think that, I mean, because China and Japan, they've they don't get along very well. So I think China actually took out Kim Jong-un because he was helping the Japanese tourist industry, because they had all these tourists, all these tourists flooding in, just wanting just to, go missile spotting out there. See, if they, I mean, what better way? You get some binoculars, you get some, I don't know, some snacks, and you just watch and wait to see who gets blown out of the freaking water, out there. I mean,
so you think China took out Kim because they were upset with the Japanese tourism industry?
Yeah, and he was facilitating it, and they kept telling him. They said, "No, you can't do that," and he said, "Well, of course I can. I'm Kim Jong Un." And they said, "Well, you're not Kim Jong Un any longer. You're," and then now we're here, and we're just talking about him, and we don't know.
All right.
And actually, I do think he is dead, and I'll tell you why. Because
despite the yachts. Despite
the yachts, I think he is dead, and here's the reason. Because in and I'm on it, but the virtual gaming platform Steam, that dominates the PC gaming player base, has one player, or I should say had one player from North Korea. There's one consistent player who spends a lot of money on all the games, like lots of money, and used to just play all the time. So basically, in their whole map of the world and all the people playing, there was one blip in North Korea, and since he's gone missing, that account is gone. They can't. He hasn't logged in since. So people are saying that was totally Kim Jong Un, and now he's gone, and because he's not gaming anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else in North Korea that it could have been? Like, how about Kim's sister?
So like she got into office, I guess, and now she just doesn't have time for.
They say she's pretty tough, like not the friendliest person. So she might just be. Maybe she's not into that same game though. Like she doesn't. I don't know. There may be some other game involving real humans that would be more interesting to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe. Well, has the sister fully assumed power yet, or are they just? I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either. I don't know. She's like number 2 in command, but nobody's told me. Nobody's told me, and if I don't hear about it.
Right, then I mean, nothing's happened yet. Then if you haven't heard about it,
I have my finger on the pulse. If they haven't told me, then it probably hadn't happened. But
that is true. I am constantly amazed by your finger to be on the pulse of some of these things, whether it is the most random thing out there. You seem to know, and I am impressed by that.
And that's why you're talking to Taco.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're talking to Taco tonight on the Wacky Theories podcast. Now listen, here's an example of having my finger on the pulse. This is really happening right now under your nose in Florida, and I hope you're upset about it. These iguanas dropping out of trees.
Wait, what?
You don't know about the iguanas dropping?
Well, wait, hold up. Were these the people that were getting like hurt from iguanas like dropping on them, and like I thought people were getting hospitalized from iguanas hitting them, or was that coconuts?
Actually, that
somewhere else.
I think you're mixing the iguanas and the coconuts. First of all,
similar things.
Okay, now that you mentioned the coconuts, let me just say, I think the statistic is that like 8,000 people a year worldwide die by getting hit on the head by a coconut.
See, and as opposed to the Japanese, beaches getting just nuked, I mean, that's not a cool way to die.
I know. Would you
really taken out by a coconut?
I know. How could you put that even on your tombstone? I couldn't.
No.
Well, anyway, so all right, that's the coconuts. But as far as I know, there's no conspiracy or any theory, there. I mean, you do have to wonder why somebody would continue to walk under a tree if, like, their great grandfather, their grandfather, and their father all died from falling coconuts. Why does that 4th generation guy then walk under the tree?
I don't know, and I mean, I don't see a whole lot of coconut trees just hanging around most places. So I mean, is it like all these abandoned or like these deserted islands that
That's what
You
I
know, we float
envision.
by and we see somebody dead with a coconut next to them, and we just assume that the coconut must have fallen on their head and not that they were trapped out there for like 30 days. I mean, I
So
don't know.
right. Yeah, that's kind of like the COVID pandemic. You got all these doctors saying that it's what killed the person, even though they had a triple heart attack with, and cancer. But then they write
Right.
it off as another COVID death. And so you're right. Come to think of it, all these
Yeah.
coconut guys, they're probably lying there. There's probably a broken coconut lying beside them. And in fact, it's because they were abandoned for 74
Hmm.
years on
Yeah.
a deserted Pacific Ocean island, and with no food and just sharks encircling them, and somehow they survived 74 years before getting hit by a coconut.
Yeah. Or well, what I'm kind of curious about now is, I mean, I'm trying to think how I would need to look up the statistics, but I mean, palm trees are tall, but I don't think. I mean, maybe a coconut reaches enough speed to hit you and hurt you pretty bad. But I'm wondering how many of these coconut deaths actually had like a bad actor in them. Like, I mean, are the bars of Hawaii having these bar brawls where people are smashing coconuts into each other's heads? I mean, we
Oh.
haven't considered whether. I mean, do they consider that death by coconut if you get hit over the head by whatever his name, the guy who did Over the Rainbow? I can't remember his name, but like anybody like that.
It's a legitimate question, and you said that you're going to look this up somehow, and I'm just wondering where you're going to look this up.
Well, I mean, yeah, actually, I don't want to have that in my search history, but regardless,
Come
the
on. Don't worry
I
about your search history. Come on.
but I don't want to like look up what velocity does a coconut need to reach to kill somebody. I mean, they say like if you drop a penny off the Empire State Building and all that, that'll cut through somebody. But a coconut, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
If you ever do look that up, then you're so vulnerable to somebody like me coming
Yeah.
around and like killing somebody that's important to you, and then just leaving a coconut lying around, and then they're going to find in your search history that you were
Yeah.
looking for coconut velocities and researching just how fast it has to be going.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not going to look it up here. And you have me on record, saying that it wasn't me. The glove does not fit, and
All right. Well, back to the iguanas, because you scrambled coconuts and
sorry.
iguanas.
Yeah.
So the iguanas keep falling out of the trees, like in Miami. All right. And I actually was the one that theorized, and you may have heard me say this at some point, that somebody was causing them to fall on certain people. Does this ring a bell?
This sounds somewhat familiar. Are they? I can't remember. Are they dying and then falling out of the tree, or are they just falling?
They're just falling, and the reason that was supplied to us was that it was just too cold for them, and they get kind of numb and just fall out of the tree. And after about 3 days of lying on the sidewalk, they wake up and go scrambling off into the bushes. That's what we were told. And my question is, when's the last time you got so cold that you fell down in Miami?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, they are warm-blooded, but it's Miami. I mean,
they come from Central America. That's half of Central America is already in Miami, and that's really not it's really not very far away either.
Right.
So why are they coming here and supposedly dropping out of the trees? Frankly, I don't believe it. So here's my theory. Okay. First of all, what do you have in Florida? You got a bunch of retirees, right? Number one, retirement state. So you got a bunch of old people. Let's just face it. Most of us can't. I mean, I would like to retire young, but probably won't. So most people that have retired or about to retire, moving to Florida, they're old. And old people tend to be more conservative. So they probably tend to be Republicans. So let's just be honest here. You got a bunch of old Republicans walking around down below. And don't you find it a little suspicious that these iguanas keep landing on their heads and like killing potential voters?
You'll have to ask what's his name, DeSantis down there.
Well,
so you think it was him that's doing this?
No, I think it's Pelosi. I think Pelosi somehow, and I don't know how, but she's persuading these iguanas to fall out of the trees and wipe out some Republican voters. Now, I because DeSantis is Republican, right?
Wait, hold up. Is he?
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Republican. Okay.
yeah. He is. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
give.
you're right. You're right.
So I think I don't know how Pelosi's doing that, but I think
Mm-hmm.
that's her plan is to wipe out, Republican voters. And I think he's had a brilliant response by sending the prisoners into the swamps to round up the pythons. I mean, he's basically fighting fire with fire
Mm-hmm.
because those pythons, they get to be like 20, 30 feet long.
Yeah, that's how is he allowed to send prisoners in Python? Well, do they volunteer themselves for this?
Excellent question. Good that you asked the taco.
Yeah.
They don't, they're not forced,
Okay.
but so the people that go into the swamps come straight out of the prisons, but it's offered to them as an opportunity because they only make in Florida like 8 cents a day for, prison labor if they choose to work. Now they don't have to work, but if they want to make some money, 8 cents a day is what they get
Man,
doing.
that's like 4 times more than like the sweatshops, though. I mean, that's a good deal.
Well, it's better than sweatshops, but it's still not so great. And
Right.
if you're willing to go track down the pythons in the swamps,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 20, if I recall, it's like $25 for the first 6 feet or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like a few bucks every foot thereafter. So if you capture just one python that is say 20 feet long,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting maybe, I don't know, over $50 or something.
I
Which is
mean,
a lot
that's a
better than
lifetime's worth of income
you're getting
right
a
there.
huge
I mean,
amount, far more than the 8 cents an hour that they would have been
yeah.
paying you if you're working in the laundry room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you get a female python who's either pregnant or at least protecting her little nest of baby pythons, and if you can
Mm-hmm.
like prove that somehow, and I don't know how you prove that, but
Yeah.
if she's pregnant or something, it's worth like an extra $25 because on the theory that she would be threatening the Everglades by multiplying out of control, which is what's happening with the pythons. So DeSantis,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what Pelosi was up to, seeing the Republican numbers dwindle as the iguanas take out voters, sends the prisoners, and let's just be honest, the prisoners are probably Democrats. Right? I mean, don't you think?
Maybe. I mean, they're in Florida, so yeah.
I mean, the people in prison are people that have fallen, let's say, through the cracks of society, and now they're relying on all these social programs to get them back on their feet as a general
Right.
rule. And so
Yeah.
they're Democrats. And he's sending them into the swamps to get eaten by the pythons, and I think it's brilliant to counter the iguana problem.
That is true. Now, here's an actual, well, not to say that your theories aren't actual theories. I mean, they're all, by God, almost grounded in fact by the just the amount of coincidences here. But there's a pretty popular theory that the birds aren't real and have never been real, but that
all birds?
Yeah, all birds. So people are saying that birds are actually robots and basically machines made by the government spying on us. And we may have some viewers out there that believe that. And that's why they land on power lines. They're recharging. That's why that's why we had Corona in the first place, so the government could change the batteries in the other birds because nobody's out in the streets. But forget about the birds. Are the iguanas real? Because I've never seen inside an iguana, or I've never seen an iguana bleed. I've never seen any of this. I don't know if there's wires in there. I don't know what's going on. So because I mean, as you were saying, it's too warm. There's no way they're just getting cold and just dropping out of the trees. I mean, good Lord, if you've ever been to Miami, it's like an iguana's paradise. It's hot, humid, It's miserable, and that's what they love.
And that's why what's her name? The singer from Miami, Gloria Estefan, was so popular, right? I mean, she was hot and humid and steamy, just like the iguanas. And like she came right out of like Miami, right?
Yeah.
So there's no way, like Can you imagine Gloria Esteban just falling over dead on the stage because she's so cold and she lies there for 3 days and then the concert resumes? Of course not. Never happened.
Yeah.
Well, you might be right. Okay, so the iguanas maybe need a recharging.
Well, maybe not even. Well, I mean, possibly, yeah, but I'm just positing whether they even have existed or not as an actual animal. I don't know,
Well,
but I mean,
somebody's
they could need
landing.
recharging.
Somebody's landed on top of these Republicans. That's real.
Yeah, that is real, and we look at the facts on this show.
Well, we do, and then we connect the dots. That's what we're all
Yeah.
about here. And we, you know, I really value my listeners, and come to think of it, if anybody's attempted to chat me, I have not even. I don't even know where that window went.
But you're still valued.
I
Nope.
am. Wow, what did I do with that window? I'm scared to click. All right, I'm gonna click on. Here goes.
Okay, I believe in you.
Oh, it came up. There's probably
Nice.
like chats waiting for me. Do I want to enable stuff? Yes. Okay, now if you're out there and you're listening, because I see that somebody
Woo!
somebody is. If you want to like shoot me a text. Wow, I think I closed that by accident. Can you see that? Can you see the text? You can't see that, can you? Okay.
No.
Whatever.
I only get a call.
Okay, well, here's the deal. While we're on lizards and iguanas and things like that, I think it's the perfect time to talk about this new tegu lizard. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Tegu, tegu.
Okay.
Tegu. Apparently is invading Georgia, and it's so invasive that they have told us to shoot them on sight. Okay.
I mean, they tell us to shoot on sight a lot of
That's
things
what I'm
here,
saying.
but
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, here we are in Atlanta where we do shoot each other, but usually it's more deliberate somehow. Or no, what am I looking for? I mean, there's more of a criminal intent, whereas outside of
Right.
Atlanta, it's kind of just sport or something.
it's just the most dangerous game instead of,
Right.
like
So I'm wondering if like the people that urged us to shoot these things on site. Now I'm not quite sure. You can help me with the theory here. It's either the gun control people, because they figure you'll shoot at a tegu lizard, he'll be so fast, you'll miss him, you'll hit some kid, and then there's another reason why guns should be controlled, right?
Right.
Or you got the pro Second Amendment, people saying maybe they planted these things, saying they're so invasive, we should all be an armed citizenry, and we need our guns. Like, can you help me with this?
Yeah, I can see both sides of it on that. I'm trying to think. Have you seen one of these lizards yet?
No.
Here, let me look up a picture of one of these, because unless I mean, I haven't seen any of these, and I'm a Georgian resident. Yeah, I've never. Oh, and these guys are pretty big too. Shoot, did you see how big these guys are?
No, I've never seen one.
They're like dog size.
You're kidding me.
I mean, they're pretty big. Hold up. I mean, I have not seen any of these around.
See?
I mean, they're huge. These guys are actually like,
it's like a dog-sized lizard.
Okay, it's like a small dog, longer. It's basically like Ramsey, but slightly smaller.
Ramsey, that would be your dog.
Yes. So yeah, not. But yeah, I'm on the Georgia Wildlife website right now, and they're talking about all this. I mean, yeah. What can you do if you see it? It says you can report it, or you can basically shoot it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So who would have brought these things? Governor Kemp. He's kind of a Second Amendment guy, isn't he? Like, maybe he figures if he brings the lizards, then we all need a gun to shoot them on sight.
Well, here it says that they're native to Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina. So, I mean, this could be these could be like the Escobar animals finally making their way over here, or something like that. I mean, because there's no way they just walked up from Argentina.
Oh, yes, there is. I think we've seen a few caravans make their way up, and there was no problem, was
But
there?
they're not a a tegu. I mean, I don't think.
I mean, who's not? The people climbing over the wall or just walking around it, since we have
Yeah,
sections of the wall. We really don't have a
right,
whole wall yet, but
right.
so
We're working on it. Yeah,
yeah, you have a few miles and then you just basically walk around the part where it stops. But
mm,
anyway, I haven't seen that to be real problematic. So I'm
yeah.
wondering if you know,
Well, they have a paragraph here that says that you can take it in as a pet. And they're actually pretty popular in the pet trade. And then the next sentence says that you're welcome to just kill them on site. So I'm seeing definitely the two parallels
so
here because
maybe
yeah,
they're trying to desensitize us to murder, or maybe this has something to do with people being either for or against the death sentence, the death penalty.
you think so
Well, if you get
that it all
used to
ties back to
Well, if you get used to death, just like killing one of these things all the time, then life, ceases to have meaning, and therefore you would be more likely, I guess, to impose the death penalty if you were a juror, because you just been killing Tegu
yeah,
lizards, right and left.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. These techies are kind of cool. I like them. They got pretty long tongues, just giant tongues. But so and you know who else has a giant tongue? That
Do I wait? Do I really want to know this?
no, I mean, Kiss.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
come on.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe,
Oh, you
just
think Gene
maybe.
Simmons is the one that brought these things?
Well, I don't know, or maybe like the Georgia wildlife mistook like a concert of Gene Simmons as thinking that there were tegus out there or something like this, and they're like, I saw him because they're white with black spots all over them. Their outfit was kind of like a white
Like
face paint with black
like
stars and
Kiss,
spots and stuff. Yeah, so I'm
like
starting
Kiss
to
and
think.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, so I'm starting to think they saw a videotape of Gene Simmons and thought, by God, it's Gene Simmons out there, and
The Tegus saw it and they're like, I found my calling, and they're making their way here because they got the tongues and the makeup is not a problem. They're already, they look appropriate. Now,
right.
Gene Simmons, I don't think there's a lot of people that would just shoot him on sight, to my knowledge.
I hope not,
So
but
these
I
Teg,
don't know. So maybe these tegus are making their way here for the next almost like Woodstock style of festival, where yeah, they're gonna just rock out, and he's just gonna out there with them.
so he's like their leader. Oh, you're saying Gene Simmons is
Maybe.
kind of like their leader that they look up to, and they're coming for him.
Maybe. I mean, does Gene? Well, here's the question: does he have a grill at all, or anything like that from your grill maker? Because he could be sending out those signals to the tegus, and they're
Ah,
coming in.
so I take it you're referring to Johnny Dang, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the one that manufactures all these grills that the stars are wearing, like Katy Perry wearing $1 million grill,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the others, a lot of the rappers. I guess that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And you think that Gene Simmons somehow is what? that
Well, he got a grill, but instead of the usual controlling everything, somehow it got miscalibrated, and instead it's calling all these tegus from Argentina, from Brazil. I mean, all these places where they shouldn't be coming from, but they're making their way up, and just like everybody else making their way up here. So
so they just okay. So it's kind of like a caravan. They see
yeah.
that there's a flow coming northward, like the
Hmm.
caravans,
Yeah.
and then they just sort of blend in naturally. Because I mean, there's really no difference between, say, Gene Simmons and your standard Mexican. I mean, they look pretty similar. So then everybody just blends in, and they come on up.
Oh God. Oh God, I knocked over my camera. Sorry, the Gene Simmons and the oh, that one got me. Okay, sorry about that. Here, let me reset this.
Didn't mean to knock you over.
Yeah, no, I
Let me
started.
just.
Oh
That's going to
God, what
end
did
up
I
on it.
do?
That's going to end up on Instagram, by the way. That's part of
Yeah,
my marketing technique is to take the best clip, and that may have been it.
that might be it because I don't think I can get this stand to function again. I sent a part flying and I don't know where it went. That's
Good one.
slightly problematic.
Do you want to? If I really had my stuff together, which I don't, I would play the little logo. Just let the audience hear about 30 seconds of my podcast theme song, and screen share the logo while you search desperately for the phone stand. But
no, I think I'm good. If this camera is slightly sturdy enough, I'm holding it, and I'm in a position where I think I can keep it, pretty straight. Well,
but you're gonna have to hold it the entire time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't, foresee this going on like 2 more hours. And if I do, you can pay for the chiropractic bill. So
Okay.
with all the viewership, moolah.
I don't want you to have to hold the camera for however long we talk. I mean,
No, this is
can't
good.
you prop it against something? I mean, don't you have a girlfriend or something you could prop it against?
Oh, hold up. I think I might see how this propping. Okay, hold up. I see how the propping mechanism works. It wasn't broken. It was just kind of messed up. So
I wish I could edit this part
out. There we go. No, we're back.
Okay. I see that nobody has. Oh wow, I lost my live follower. That sucks.
It's because I dropped the. It's because I dropped the camera.
Yeah, they're like disgusted.
Yeah, he said, "I thought this was a professional show," and
either they're either totally not there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? Well, anyway, let me move on to the next theory here. Again, I need your help here. So I was driving down the highway the other day, which you can actually do right now because of the virus. There's like much less traffic. Normally in Atlanta, you wouldn't move, and you know how that goes. Yeah. Okay, well, these days you can actually get a little velocity. And I was going down the highway and I look over at the sound barrier. Okay, those things they build to keep I don't know. I guess it's to keep the sound in or out, and maybe you can help me with that. But
wait, are those actual sound barriers? I thought some of those were used for terraforming purposes and the land and keeping dirt back and things like that as well. Are they completely for sound?
They're sound. My understanding is that they're supposed to be controlling the sound, like sound pollution.
So like for neighborhoods neighboring the highway, it's not so terrible.
Yes. So since I was going about 30 miles an hour, which is about as fast as you ever go in Atlanta traffic, right. I had a chance to look a little more closely at the sound barrier, and it has doors periodically. It has like a door, like a bedroom door,
Yeah, and you can go straight through.
So I'm wondering who's that door for? Like, if you're driving, you're not exactly getting out and going through the door. And if you're on the other side in the neighborhood, you're not exactly coming through the door and getting run over on the highway. So who's the door for?
Well, okay. How about this? They say that it's pretty dangerous for you to sit in your vehicle on the side of the road. They tell you to get back. So maybe those doors are for people who popped a tire, engine broke, whatever. And it's actually for you to exit the highway, and you step behind the barrier, and now you're not going to have these psychos out there actually like swerving towards you because they see you.
That's actually a very reasonable theory, but I think it's totally wrong. let me just tell you mine.
Okay.
I think you're going to agree that mine makes a lot better sense than that. I mean, that was almost bordering on ridiculous compared to what I'm going to posit.
Okay.
I'm thinking, I don't know if you've ever heard of like those Guatemalan worry dolls. I actually got one by accident. I didn't ask for it, but I ordered something from Amazon. I don't remember what, and it came with a complimentary Guatemalan worry doll and a little.
What the heck did you? I don't even want to know. I
really don't. It was like a microphone or something for this podcast. Why it came with a worry doll? I mean, maybe they were actually thinking how worried I would be to go live, which I was pretty nervous as I screwed up right and left. Still hoping that this is recording properly. But anyway,
I'm sure it's fine.
okay, so the worry doll came with this little card that described what it was for, and it turns out it's for little Guatemalan girls. When they're worried, they just put this thing under their pillow, and the idea is if you think about all your worries as you go to sleep with this little doll under your pillow, then when you wake up, they're all gone. It's like the worry doll took your worries away.
It sounds like you would have more nightmares because all you're thinking about is
Right.
all the things that stress you out
Right.
before you sleep.
I know, what kind of evil plot is this? It's like they want you to focus on the very worst things that have ever happened to you just before you go to sleep.
Yeah, that's rough.
It is
that
rough.
is rough. Yeah.
And how did Amazon get a hold of this, and why did they send it to me? Right? Unless it was because they thought I'd be worried doing my podcast, and
That's
because I
true.
ordered a microphone. And
Yeah.
well, the reason I mentioned that is because I think that there's some sort of a little man behind that door with the sound barriers, kind of like the Guatemalan worry doll. And what he does is he comes out at night and he lets all the bad sound and all the vibrations and all the road rage negativity that's accumulated on the road during the day, he lets it through the door and he sort of sucks it up into him. And then he closes the door and goes back to sleep. And we're ready to resume with our
Right.
drab and miserable lives the next day as we sit in traffic and get frustrated and angry all over again.
Well, then why don't they just leave those doors open at all times? So he's just constantly, because I mean, for any viewer that has ever gone through Atlanta, it's a miserable experience. So why they don't hire some more, worried dwarves or whatever, you have behind that door? I don't know. And in fact, you should be even more worried because I'm sure you saw that you don't have to take a driver's test anymore. In Georgia, you can get it on parent recommendation, and you should know better than any other person that you could just forge your parents' recommendation signature, right? I mean, I think.
Yes. Now, I'm not going to respond to that dig where you suggested that maybe I would forge my parents' signature. But
Right.
I will say this: you're behind the times on your information, bruh.
Have they redacted?
Yes,
that?
they have. They
Oh,
came
thank
out.
God.
Turns out, I forget how many thousand, maybe 30,000 kids took advantage of it, and they had their license and everything. And you actually have to execute. Tell me you didn't knock your stand over.
No, we're good. Just my water.
Okay, so water is now.
No, my water was pretty much empty, so we're good.
Okay, so here's the deal. About 30,000 kids, I think, in Georgia took advantage of this little program that said that you could get a parent's affidavit, or actually if you were old enough, you could do it yourself. But that kind of begs the question, because these were for kids that need
Right.
like a learner's.
So anyway, whose idea was this is what I need to know. And
well, here's the deal. If you were a minor, then you had to have a parent co-sign this affidavit. Oh, wait. Somebody. No, that's just my. Thought I'd been texted. It was just my own automatic text going out to the world.
Wow.
So, what's up, world? Take a look at my. Feel free, anybody, to text me. Okay, so here's the deal. They revoked it. They said, you know what, bad idea after all. And as the virus is, now we're easing the restrictions of the lockdown, and therefore kids need to get back in that car right up next to the instructor, who of course doesn't want to be next to some coughing 15-year-old. And then you have to get the test and all that. And I don't even know why we were talking about that, but I will say,
well, because it was about it was about the anger door, thing, and then because that itself probably caused a lot of anger in these drivers.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely
mean, because
created future road rage.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine what that person's going to be like? That'll be like a super rage, because not only did they start earlier with their rage than anybody else, but also they're just pissed because they had their privilege like taken away from them, and now that they've finally gotten their license, they're out there and they're just mad.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess I'm glad those doors are there. Maybe that person can go through the door and just get out of my way. I don't know. Or maybe I run through the door to get away from that driver.
Either way, they're versatile.
All right. Next question for you. Can you tell me why when you reach into a bag of Starburst, it's like 85% of them are cherry?
No, but you make a really good point.
Have you noticed?
I have noticed because I'm not a big fan of the cherry.
None of us are.
And nobody likes them.
This predates you, but back in when I was younger, they were telling us that red food dye was dangerous. It would cause cancer. And it was like, they even took red M&Ms out of the package for a while. You couldn't find a red M&M. And it was this food dye cancer thing. And now what does Starburst do? They like flood us with red cherry Starburst. And, you know, none of us even like that fake cherry flavor. So what is up with that?
Okay, so here's an idea. So Starburst, so everybody gets them. We eat through all the other good flavors like the lemon, you know, everything like that, the ones everybody likes. And then, so we have all these, we have all these left over, right? So we eat a couple. We try to brave through the 70%, you know, of the bag left of cherry. And we're like, I can't do this. This sucks. So what do? We throw it away and go buy more Starburst. What I'm thinking is that they go and take back, recycle the ones that people have been throwing away because nobody's been touching them. So they have an actual overabundance. They probably haven't made a single cherry flavored one in like 30 years because we're still coasting. And I mean, there's probably like 4 people out there in the world that just love them. But I mean, they haven't needed to make a single, you know, one since then.
Well, they've gotten smart. Now they've come out with these duo flavors. Have you seen that?
Yeah, some of that.
I don't like those actually, but it's like a double. It might be a yellow and red put together, half and half, side by side, all into one Starburst. You've seen that?
Yeah, and that's their way of using all the excess stock that they've accumulated. They realize that if we give them just enough, just this half of the flavor they like, they'll deal with it, and they'll eat through the rest of it.
I think that's what it is. Now, I did wonder if the American Indians didn't have something to do with this.
Okay, wait, you lost me.
I mean,
you lost me there, but
they're just a little reddish in their hue. And I don't mean anything, you know, racist there. I'm just because I'm kind of whitish, right? And you're kind of whitish.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of reddish. So like there's no problem with that, but I'm wondering if they're somehow behind this Starburst thing because there's red Starburst everywhere.
You know, I actually think that I knocked my camera off again, but you know, I think that this all ties back to the old people in Florida because we have all those old people in Florida. And what comes around once a year is Halloween, right? And what have all the statistics say? They say that kids do not like chocolate candy. They actually love this fruity candy, but they don't necessarily like these red Starbursts. But, you know, they're too young or too stupid to know better. So actually, what they're trying to do is because it's expensive to get Halloween candy. You've been out there. I mean, it's like if you try to get enough candy to supply in the neighborhood, you're $40 or $50 in to it. Or you could buy these bagfuls of Starburst that people hate that are like $3, and then you fill up your bowl, you know, of candy with that, and then who cares how much the kids take or how much you give them? So you can cheaply feed the masses of all these kids that are coming through ungrateful with this Halloween candy.
I like that. I like that. And I think that's what I'm going to do because I bought a bag of Starburst lately and I like the ones that aren't red, but now I'm looking to get rid of that other 90%.
Save them for Halloween.
Save them for Halloween.
I mean, it's May now, but you know, does a Starburst go bad? I don't know if they do. They're made of
the thing. They don't ever. Yeah. They're made of something that
like oobleck or something. I don't know.
It's not biodegradable.
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with Tekashi 6ix9ine?
You mean 96, right?
Well,
I mean, for the best joke that you've ever made, I think.
but you have to assume that our audience hasn't heard my theory yet on how I mean, he could easily protect himself from all these people that would kill him because,
Mhm.
of course, he ratted the gangs out and now they're looking for him. And, of course, he's on house arrest doing videos for all the world to see. So I don't know how hard he's really trying to hide. But anyway, um, it's pretty easy. Change your
Yeah.
name to 9-6. Nobody will ever find you.
No.
So, but there's more. It's not just that. That's an extra bonus tip for my listeners. Anybody wondering how he can, hide himself? He doesn't need witness
Mhm.
protection. It's just 9-6, no
Yeah.
brainer. Now, did you see his most recent video?
No. But actually, I almost did. I saw
How do you
on
almost?
YouTube recommended to me a live video. I guess it wasn't live, but it was a video that had been filmed within the past couple hours of me getting on YouTube for that of him. And I thought about your joke. I thought about him, and then I realized I'm not going to click on this. And then I scrolled away.
Well, you
And
should have. You should have, because you know what you would have seen.
I really don't know what to expect with him.
Okay, well, first of all, he's usually multicolored. He's got lots of rainbow action going on in his hair.
Yeah, he looks like a starburst.
He's
Kind of.
totally
Yeah.
like a starburst. Like if you
Yeah.
were to throw a bag of starbursts at him, you wouldn't even be able to find any of them because they would blend in.
What? Find a 6'9" in a haystack of starburst or something like that.
Exactly. Now, what got him into trouble was really ratting out the gangs because he was involved in gangs, and then he was out perpetrating crimes
Right.
on behalf of whichever side of the Crips or the Bloods or whatever that he was on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now then he got let out because of the virus, and they said, you can stay at home for the remaining 2 months of your sentence on home arrest with an ankle bracelet on. So he started filming a video, and somebody spotted him from like their patio because he's like hanging out the window doing all this filming and stuff. Anyway, then they put it online. Hey, I think I just saw 6'9", and it's really not.
Uh-oh.
It's really not 9-6 or whatever. So yeah, they know where he is. Now, meanwhile, this is really all an aside. What I really meant to talk about was, if you had seen the video, you would have seen there's an excessive amount of twerking going on in there. Like it's from start to finish, it's like one big twerk with
Okay.
just a bunch of booty. Okay. Like,
His or
no, thankfully.
oh.
Thank God.
Hey,
Thankfully,
I don't
it's not
know.
his.
I don't know what he learned in prison. I mean,
No, it's
I
not. It's not his. He's got all these
do women
actors
really?
and
Okay, wait. Do they really want to
actresses.
be with this snitch though? I mean,
Well, I would hope not, but
does he have the money still? I maybe, I guess.
I'm assuming he's still got money.
Or well, I mean, he probably owns like a 50% stake in the Starburst Corporation.
Yeah.
So
He's got enough money to get frequent hairdos. I mean, since he's done that video, he changed it to blonde on one side and multicolored on the other. He wasn't even like that in the video. So he's got enough for haircuts. I guess he's got some money.
Yeah. How do you get a good haircut in prison? I mean, are there, who do you get it from? Do they have like a state hired barber that does it for you? Or
I mean, I guess if you put two shanks together, you end up with like a pair of scissors.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, there's probably a few people that could create some scissors and give you a haircut. I don't know that I would ask for the shave, but
yeah.
So
okay.
Well, in his video, there's a huge amount of twerking going on, and at first you just think, oh, that's a lot of twerking and big butt, lots of big twerking butts in that video. The entire from start to finish, it's just a lot of butt movement, and it becomes mesmerizing. It's kind of like staring at the ocean. It's like you see all these big waves, and it starts to mesmerize you, and it got me thinking. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe he's either mesmerizing us on purpose or like to try to get us to fall asleep, and then he sneaks out of there because they figured out where he is and he needs to get out of there. Or maybe it's a way of showing a gang sign. You know, I could swear the more I looked at all the twerking butts, the more I was pretty sure that there were some symbols in there coming at me like in wave form. I think he's
Hmm.
throwing gang signs through the twerking
Like
butts.
subliminal twerk messages or
I
something
think
like that.
so. I mean, you'll have to watch it, but you tell me
Hmm.
if you don't see, like some gang signs in there.
Well, maybe you could. I mean, you might be able to like Morse code with the clap of each. So maybe you are getting subliminal messages through this, and he's saying, well, I don't know what he's saying, but
Well,
something.
he probably needs to communicate with somebody to like come get him out of that building because
Oh,
now
okay.
he's been spotted. So maybe he's trying to like just communicate with somebody on the outside to give him instructions of how to, like El Chapo
Hmm.
or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's monitoring his communications. He can't just say, "Oh, send a subway tunnel right under my jail cell." He can't do
Right.
that. So I'm thinking, maybe this is 6ix9ine's way of sort of telling everybody, "Come get me."
Hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
It's an exceptional amount of twerking. You really need to check it out.
That does sound like a lot of twerking.
All right, now tell me this: who who is it that determined that an appropriate serving size of white cheddar cheese Cheetos is 32 Cheetos? Because that's what
Uh,
it said on the package the other day. I bought some, and it said, serving size 32. Like, who decided that?
are those like the puffs, like the big puffy Cheetos?
Does that matter to your analysis?
Well, did you buy a big bag or did you buy like a small
Does
little bag?
that matter to your analysis?
Well, if it's a small bag, I don't even know how you fit 32 Cheetos in there to begin
Okay.
with of the
All right.
puffy. So it was a big bag, right?
It was a big bag that it seated 32 in number.
Okay. And
And they
were
were
there
puffy.
only 32 puffs in there?
No, there were at least 5 servings in there.
Okay. Actually, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it
Then.
was a lot. I was surprised.
Yeah, and actually I learned about why these chip bags have so much air in them. It's actually not air. These companies are actually filling the bags. I think it was with nitrogen gas. So it's actually not air that's filling these bags. They stuff them full of nitrogen gas to actually prevent them from going stale.
Oh wow.
So that's actually the reason why all these bags are like inflated to the max, and have so few chips in them. But back to your point, now you're thinking about it. But yeah, apparently it's not just regular O2 that's in there. You know,
Wow.
yeah, the more you know. But I'm starting to think that's just an excuse for them to give us less chips. But for the actual serving size amount on it, I would argue that 32 of those is probably well over what you should probably eat in one sitting, or
So
any of them.
who determined that 32 is a serving size, and why are they doing this to me? And what are they going to do to me if I eat 33? I mean, it's like Mark
Well, you don't want to
Zuckerberg
find out. You don't
is
want to find out.
is Mark Zuckerberg going to find out and, sell that information to somebody through Facebook if I eat 33?
Maybe. Or Chester the cheetah or whoever is going to come and, you know, do something.
Is there a guy named Chester the Cheeto?
Yeah,
Is
Chester the cheetah. He's the mascot. He's
he
the
is? Because
Yeah, he's the mascot. He's on like half the bags.
I knew a wrestler named Chester the Cheeto. I thought.
Wait, no, he's the mascot for Chester Cheeto, or I don't know what is Chester Cheetah. Maybe is his name. I don't know. Uh, obviously, I don't eat enough Cheetos.
I need to note for my viewers that this is not sponsored by the Cheeto Company. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Keep going.
no. I think they're owned by Fritos, actually.
That's a lot of nitrogen. Where's all the nitrogen gas coming from that these people are pumping into our chips?
I don't know, and I would. Is it good to be eating all this nitrogen gas, or to have your face over the bag as you get blasted with nitrogen when
Exactly.
you
That's what
open
I'm
the?
wondering.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. I don't want nitrogen blasts in my face.
Yeah.
Um, Now, let's see. Oh, here's one for you. Here's my theory. I think that I think that as we move forward in time, there are going to be more and more accidents on motorcycles driven by white supremacists.
Uh, Statistically, you'd probably be right. I'm sorry, my mind was in such a different place because I Google. Okay, wait, I gotta explain this. We'll come back to this motorcycle thing here in a sec, but I googled Chester Cheetah, right, and he is there. He exists, and the first thing that pops up is his Twitter account. So of course, I went on his Twitter account,
Naturally.
and the the last thing that he said was, look at yourself straight in the eyes and repeat after me. I am spicy yet lovable. I am cheesy yet flamin' hot. I am a snack. Hashtag flamin' hot affirmations. And you just,
Wow.
yeah, you explain that to me because I don't know how to process that at all.
It's some sort of self-affirmation. I mean, like they're trying to make you feel good if you're flaming. See, flaming.
They're trying to make you feel good, like okay, even though you ate above the serving size, you ate
Or
the 33,
you ate the 33,
and
and
he's saying it's okay.
it's okay. And I think he's also saying, on another level, if you're flaming hot, it's okay. So like pro gay. Am I allowed to say gay? Or is that word not allowed anymore?
No, I think you're allowed to say that.
What are you? Are you what are you, a millennial? What are you from again?
I really like the new name that was given to my generation, which was just Gen F'd. Because
Because you guys are F.
yeah, I like that one. But what am I? I don't know. I'm in the middle basically
Of
of
what?
I don't know.
Like what's on both sides
Gen
of you?
Gen what Gen Z is it? And the Gen Z I think, which is like 2000 something, and then millennials, which is ends in 1995 or something.
Okay.
I don't
All
know.
right.
Don't get Lydia in this call because she'll let me know.
I I think she's left us. My own daughter. My own daughter who helped me set up this podcast left. That's sad. But anyway, yeah, so back to the Harleys. I didn't say Harley at first. Or did
No,
I?
you said yeah. Don't bring Harley into this.
Well, I
You
have to.
said
I didn't
okay.
want to bring them in, but I think they're a part of it because what's going on is my suggestion is that as we move forward in time, the percentage of people who ride and people get in accidents, the
Mm-hmm.
accidents are increasing percentage wise moving forward. And I think it's because Harley has come out with a battery powered bike. All right. So
Ah,
like
that's not cool. For
that's what I'm saying. All right. So you've got all these, big biker sort of white supremacist type guys.
mm-hmm.
And they right? And they all have like Harleys, big hogs, right?
Yeah.
But but
What
now it's
is it
battery
with?
powered. It's like totally quiet, like a Toyota Prius. So how do
Uh,
you roar up on somebody and scare the crap out of them if you can't even make any noise with your pipes?
Actually, I think I see how this is. I actually no. I'm amazed that you haven't seen what is happening here. So no, I'm serious. I'm amazed that you haven't with all your, infinite theory wisdom, haven't seen through this like I just did.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Help me out.
okay. So we talked about earlier in the podcast, these, Japanese men, are, all effeminate now. The women aren't liking them. I mean, what is more masculine than, showing up riding a motorcycle, right? Now, that's not going to fly in Japan, having these loud, obnoxious, you know, all these motorcycles. But over there, it's not like, all the Suzuki motorcycles. They don't make these big, Harley Davidson motorcycles. They make these little tiny ones that go like 200 miles an hour, right? So,
Yeah. And plus, you want to avoid. I mean, remember that Kim Jong Un is lobbing missiles over at you. You need
right. So you need something fast,
fast and smaller, less of a target.
right?
Okay.
So I mean, what better a way to bring back masculinity than to have these giant, just manly motorcycles that aren't killing the environment, because Japan doesn't want that, but they still have the look of the Harley, I assume, right? So they're still like these big, the handlebars above your head kind of Harleys, and the women are going to start flocking back to these guys. I mean, I think it's a power play on the Japanese market.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're amazed that I didn't just see that right off the top, because I should have just seen that.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, because things catch on here in America. Well, no, here's how it goes. Things catch on in Japan, then they catch on here in America,
Yeah,
and then they go back to Japan, because they're using like these Nokia flip phones right now. Why? It's like, that's like the 90s.
Yeah,
but
they've come back.
But we're here. So I'm thinking the motorcycles are going to go over to that market. I mean, it's cyclical. It's going to happen.
Oh, you didn't
So
mean
we're
to
actually
say cyclical, did you? Like a cycle?
Yeah,
Or
well, it goes
motor,
over there and then it
like
comes back. Yeah.
like a motorcycle.
Yeah. See, now you're getting it, the picture now.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just concerned. If I'm, let's say, just your run of the mill white supremacist, and
Okay.
and let's just say I want to chase some people around and cause trouble,
Right.
and I come roaring up on them, except it's not roaring, it's like really silent, because it's this battery powered thing, and no matter how fast I come up, it's totally silent.
Mhm.
So like they don't even hear me coming, so I didn't scare them. In fact, I have to scream at them for them to even turn around.
Right.
Then they turn around, and what do? Well, I've been trained all my life to rev my engine and show them what a big, bad, fat, mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want them to see that. I want them to feel that. And so I start revving like crazy, but I'm not hearing anything. There's no feedback. It's totally silent. And so I rev to like accidentally up to like 150 miles an hour, and the thing kicks into gear. And I just spin out and like have a wreck shortly thereafter, and that's
Right.
why I think that there's going to be an increased number of wrecks, for this particular demographic.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
kind of
actually, I
surprised,
could see that.
and I'm surprised you didn't see that. I mean, because I really, it's pretty clear to me.
Yeah. What is it with fuel inefficiency as a measure to manliness in a way? Because you see these people driving these like Hummers around, right? And they're just looking for the next gas station to stop at, and that's all they do. It's just that's all they can do, right? Or else they're gonna have to push it, which good luck pushing your Hummer around, right? I mean, that thing weighs more than a tank. So
this is what turns the women on, is that they're so focused on one thing, and that's finding the next gas station, that you're so focused. I think that's attractive to the opposite sex. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, they like that passion, that drive,
right?
Or
because
the
imagine
lack of being able to.
Right, because imagine if you were, in some fuel efficient little car that like never needs filling up, so you don't even have to think about where the next station is. So you're cruising around thinking about all this other stuff, And of course, the women are bored with whatever you're thinking about because they're women. They're not you, and they don't like whatever you're thinking about. And you're far more predictable and understandable, and frankly, manipulable, easily manipulated
There you go.
if you have a one track mind and there's only one thing on it, and that is where's the next gas station? Because
Mhm.
then she can just put a tray of food down in front of you and you just grunt and say, woman, gas station. And she's like, that way. And she points you towards the gas station. That's all she has
Right.
to really say to you. Then she can
Yeah.
go shopping or whatever she wants to do,
Yeah.
become a
I think.
president of a multinational corporation, whatever she's into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a thought.
Definitely. Well, here, I'll tell you what. You need to speed run one last theory past me because I
Yeah.
just looked at the phone and
Yeah, we've
my
been
phone's
going
on
for it.
one. Well, my phone's on 1%.
Okay,
So
here it goes.
you have to like speed run this thing.
Okay, here it is. My theory is that that the whoever created Pokeballs was some sort of angry, evil social psychologist.
Okay.
Okay,
Why?
and the why is because when you're in line, you've probably noticed this. When you're in line trying to get your Pokeball, you're like the only one that doesn't know what you want. There's so many choices; it's overwhelming, and there's all these combinations of taste that you can't even begin to appreciate. It's like squid with octopus, or should I put some crab sauce on there? And all these things, we don't know the answers. We don't know the combinations. It's not like saying I'd like ketchup on my burger. It's a lot harder. So you
Yeah.
feel what? You feel pressured. You feel under pressure. You're anxiety. Everybody seems to know what they want, but you don't know what you want. You're holding up the line.
Hmm.
So I'm just thinking whoever invented these things, had some sort of evil intention.
Yeah, they do offer a lot of choices, but I mean, isn't the flavor of life just seeing what comes to you? Just you know, just taking that choice and saying, you know what, I'll take the octopus and the squid, and I'll worry about it later. Oh God.
Well, I tell you what, um, I don't know how to dismiss you. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. I think his phone died, and that's okay because I was just about to try to figure out how to dismiss him from this anyway. At this point, I've got to figure out now how to dismiss my guest. Hang on, let me look at this. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to, well, he's gone already. He dismissed himself by accident, and that's cool. So, look, I would like to thank my son Isaac again for his participation on this inaugural Wacky Theories podcast, episode number 1, ground zero tonight. We went a long time, 2 hours. And yeah, if you survive this long, more power to you. But I'm coming back at you every Tuesday and Thursday night. I'm coming at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. That's your East Coast, Atlanta, New York, Miami. And I wish I could somehow summarize what we discussed tonight, but that would be impossible. I wish I could wrap it all together in some meaningful way, but that would be impossible. I just want to thank you all for tuning in to Taco's podcast, and we'll be back to catch you next time. Until then, stay wacky. And you know what? There was one other thing I wanted to do. Let me show you this beautiful kitty cat. She's the reason I'm doing this. It all began with her. That is my sweet cat, originally named Mittens, but came affectionately to be known as Pit Viper. And Pit Viper's no longer with us, but I promised her that I would go forward with this dream of doing a podcast. So, Pit Viper, this first episode was for you. I love you. I miss you. And I will keep doing it in your name. Everybody, good night. See you on Thursday. Until then, stay wacky.